I helped mentor him when he first started in the business. I've known him since I met Steve in 1992 at the National Association of Black Journalists Convention in Detroit, where he was trying to become a sports writer. And one of my coworkers brought him over to me by the arm and said, "Hey, this is a guy named Steve Smith from New York, and he wants to be a sports writer." And I told him that he should meet you and that you would help him. And that's how I met him. And
Wow.
we're both from New York, both from Queens. He's from Hollis, Queens, where Run DMC's from, and I'm from Jamaica, Queens. But we've been friends since 1992. That's what people do in barbershops. That's what
Yep.
they debate sports and talk about who's better, this and that, and all the other scenarios. So I thought it was natural um, in sports. But those guys were friends, really good friends, and they just had a falling out. And who knows, in time, maybe they'll, make up and let bygones be bygones, as you
Do you do
realize.
you keep do you keep in touch with Skip?
I haven't talked to Skip in a while. Stephen A. and I are really close. I helped mentor him when he first started in the business. I've known him uh, since I met Steve in 1992 at the National Association of Black Journalists Convention in Detroit, where he was trying to become a sports writer. And one of my coworkers brought him over to me by the arm and said, "Hey, this is a guy named Steve Smith from New York, and he wants to be a sports writer." And I told him that he should meet you and that you would help him. And that's how I met him. And
Wow.
we're both from New York, both from Queens. He's from Hollis, Queens, where Run DMC's from, and I'm from Jamaica, Queens. But we've been friends since 1992. I used to read his stories when he used to write high school stories, critique them, send them back, give them advice. I've known him not, I don't know him from the TV standpoint. I know him as a friend. You know what I mean? As somebody
Yeah.
who I've seen develop, and he works really hard and
I
deserves
remember when
everything he
I
gets.
remember when you had me doing the website. You had a concept called Sports Bros, I think it was called.
No, ESPN Bro. ESPN Bro. That's what you did.
ESPN Bro.
And
Yeah.
I have a baseball website called MLB Bro off of that same concept.
Yeah, we're going to talk about what you got going on nowadays, but I think I remember one time you had a dinner here in the D, and it was like, I wish like now I wish looking back I would have appreciated it more, but I think you had like Stephen A, you had all the brothers, man, all the sports columns, the sports guys, and
Right.
it was like, wow, that was powerful. I remember that.
Back in the day, I
Who was
know.
all
Yeah.
there? Stephen A.
I'm trying to think. I don't know. Well, because it depends on when it was, but Will Bond, David Aldridge,
Wilbon.
yeah, all those guys. I mean, that's my era of journalism. We all came up together. We all were in the
What would you
newspaper
give
business together.
what would you give advice to up and coming kids that are looking to get into journalism, sports journalism specifically? What would you guide them into doing in
Um,
2025?
well, the big thing is you got to really want it and be willing to put in the hard work. I think a lot of people, they see people on TV and just think, "Oh, that's the job I want. I want to just get on and talk about basketball." That sounds good. That ain't how it works. Everybody, Stephen A, anybody who's doing it, they're either a former athlete or they're a reporter who put in time. You know, like there's a story behind everybody who you see on television or in those roles. Um, and as I told you, I started covering the NBA in 1987. It wasn't I didn't just show up one day and say, "Hey, I know the league. I want to talk about it." And if you're
Hmm.
willing to put in the work and sacrifice and work on the weekends and work at night and all the other stuff, it's worthy. As I look at my career, I've been doing it. I'm just started. January 6th will be my 39th year in the business. So it was
Congrats.
39 years ago I got started. I was 21 years old in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, as a high school sports writer. And I was the happiest guy in the world, making $15,000 a year to cover high school sports in northeastern Pennsylvania. Do you know what I mean? You couldn't tell me anything. I
Yeah.
just graduated from college. I wasn't thinking, "Oh, I'm going to be on television, or I'm going to have a national radio show with 400 stations around the country." That wasn't what I was thinking about. It was about doing the job that was at hand at that time, which was being the best high school sports writer I could be. And Chris
But
Broussard and everybody,
Chris
Stephen
Broussard,
A.
yeah.
covered high schools. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is
Yep.
the path.
But in today's media, though, it's shifting, right? You're seeing the podcasters, the YouTube guys. Like,
Yeah, a
how
lot of
does
those
that
guys.
fit into?
Yeah, a lot of those guys. It just depends. I think that I'm down on people who don't do homework, research, who aren't critical, who aren't willing to push back.
Yo, it's crypto blood, Detroit flow, streaming from the D, knowing what the show, indicators are on point, OG since 12, invested in trading, living life like a pro, I rock